Have you ever had that one coworker that you know when they're on shift is going to be a good, hilarious day? Today we're talking to nurse Jessica Seitz, whose comedic skills went viral after trying her hand at being a content creator. Jessica recalls how her 20 years of experience as an L&D nurse was not enough to escape management and COVID's new demands, and how that shifted her from bedside nurse into becoming a full-time content creator. With over 150 Facebook followers, 36,000 Instagram followers, and 145,000 followers on TikTok. Stay tuned to hear how she made the shift to serving her community through humor. You don't want to miss it.
Are live. Welcome to the Nurse Boss Shift podcast. It's your girl, Dr. Jones.
And Christal.
And we are excited to welcome our guest, Jessica Seitz. I'll tell a little bit about our relationship, Jessica, how we met, which was at a Nurse Creator Con in Austin, where you were emceeing and very funny. And I was like, okay, who is this lady? She's pretty dope. And she seems to be so bubbly and full of energy. I need to get to know what her background is. And this actual event was dedicated to nurses who were pretty much creatives, which is a very new space for us. Most nurses who make a transition either go into some type of health related business, and to be a creator is just so different, if I must say so myself. So before we get started, Jessica, we would first like the viewers and the listeners to know just a little bit about your nursing background, and then we're going to dive into like how we ended up here and how you ended up where you are. So I'll go ahead and let you start.
Okay, nursing background. I've been a nurse for 22 years now. It's a long time. I obviously started when I was like 15 years old. Just kidding. But yeah, 22 years, labor and delivery, all 22 years. Well, actually 21 years. The last year I have not been working bedside any longer. I've been doing my business from home full time. But basically love labor and delivery, love delivering babies, never wanted to leave, stayed at the same hospital the whole time. And same place, same hospital. And then, we can get into that other kind of stuff later, but eventually wanted to pursue something that I had a passion for. So I kind of put my feet in and made a change. So that's where I'm at today.
The same hospital for 22 years.
Yep.
Wow. 21 years. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear that anymore.
Well, yeah. And people don't usually leave, like they're your family at this point. So when you've been at the same place, you guys are each other's godparents, like for your kids type of situation. So how did you decide to make that a transition, like even into considering being a creative from a job that you obviously loved? Was there a change in the climate or what happened?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. And ever since I was younger, like I always wanted to be an actress. Like it sounds so cheesy, but I was looked at like soap opera stars and I was like, God, I wish I could do that. So growing up, that was always my passion, was to either make people laugh or do something in front of a camera. I love storytelling, all those different types of things you do in elementary school and high school, drama club. But went into nursing because obviously it's a wonderful career, but it's stability. Going and doing acting is kind of like a big risk. So I went into that and loved it for the longest time. Loved my coworkers, but as many people face the micromanagement and the change in administration over the years, just became so much that I wasn't enjoying my place in healthcare anymore. I felt like the things that I loved and brought me joy were being taken away from me, meaning I wasn't having the time to bond with my patients the way that I used to. Everything was about charting and billing and adding more documents and adding more things to computers. And it's just every time you would turn around, a new task was added on, another task, more things that were expected of you. And it got to the point that I felt like my back was turned constantly to my patients. And for me, that I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't me. I remember I went to my manager and I said, hey, I explained, and it wasn't just me, like the unit was feeling that way. They were all feeling depleted, but I felt like somebody that had been there for a long time. I would say, hey, you're going to lose a bunch of great nurses, like experienced nurses, because what's going on here is it's not driving. And the response that I was told was, well, you know what, sweetie, you're only a number. You are just as replaceable as anybody else. There are many, many other nurses that would die to have your position. So if you feel like this isn't a fit for you anymore, maybe you should try to find something else.
Wow. Whoa.
And that was a turning point for me right there. I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere in that job. But if I'm just being seen as that my value isn't there anymore, and that after being there 19 years, that was equivalent to a new grad or somebody that's been loyal and has never left. I just, from then on, I hung my head low, did my job, and slowly started pursuing this other career until I could finally So, pretty sad story.
Very sad.
And where are you at, Jessica?
I can imagine you made your patients happy.
Yeah, exactly. With your comedy. I was just going to ask you, where are you located at?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in Palm Harbor, Florida, which is near Tampa, Clearwater area.
Okay.
So that's where I'm located. Yep.
Beautiful area, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, it is. I love it. I've been born and raised here in Florida, so I've been here all my life. Yeah.
And it just goes to show how these conversations and feelings of nurses are happening from here in California all the way across the state through Florida. Is we're being seen and given the feeling like we're just a number, and that there's so many other nursing students, students in nursing who are graduating who would love to have our job, and we're replaceable. And that's just unfair, especially for someone who's had, at the time, a 19-year career. You would think that they would value you and what you bring to the hospital and to your patients much more than that. So
I literally was in shock. I was in shock. I thought it was going to be like, hey, like, no, what is it? What are the complaints? What are you guys feeling? Like, let's talk about this. And I was like, almost like, they who knows? They might want me out of here. I don't know. But it was just like, they didn't feel like, if you're not going to do what's required of you, then, or you feel like it's too much, then what is it? You can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, whatever they say. That's what I felt like she was basically saying. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I think that's so sad because Jessica, you're so bubbly. I can only imagine you probably made not only the patients, but the staff, like, day go by faster. You always have that person you want to work with. You're like, oh, she's on the shift.
Well,
I know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, if we weren't laughing, it wasn't like, that's how I just dealt with stuff. Like, we just, the whole day, you go to the nurse's station and you giggle and you cut up. And when I was being told, y'all need to quiet down, or that was like frowned upon, like for us to even like giggle or have fun. It was like we were running like robots. Like they wanted us to turn into robots. And I was like, the heck is going on here? What happened to camaraderie? Like, what happened to being with your team? And, as long as you're with your patients and taking care of your patients, like what, I'm sure you ladies know. And no drinks at the nurse's station, no snacks at the nurse's station, no, like, boop, 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 just,
wow.
So the micromanaging out of control.
So, okay. So then the next question is, so you're a nurse for 19 years. One thing I do know about us as nurses is we tend to bond over our traumas. Like, we will be at the nurse station. Everybody's talking about what we don't like, or, leadership is doing this to us, that to us. How did you make the shift from not just talking about it to making it a real thing? Like, I know now you said it's been a year that you've been full-time as a creator. Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm sure most people are even still, like, even us are like, okay, a what? Like, you're a what? What is that? So how did you...
It's funny you say that. When moms ask me, like, I meet, like, my kids, you know, their friends' moms, and they're like, so what do you do for a living? I'm like, God, I hate this question. I'm like, I'm a social media influencer. I'm like, that sounds cheesy. I'm like, I'm a video creator. I'm like, that sounds weird. I'm a nurse comedian. Nobody understands. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I don't know. Just go to TikTok and you'll figure it out. Like, and then usually the next question is, like, you can make money from that. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, you know?
Yeah.
But if you're asking how did I make that transition, well, it obviously was gradual. I mean, I was still working my full-time hours, and when I did have some downtime, you know, on my days off or whatnot, I just started tinkering around. I didn't really understand like how to share videos or make funny videos, but I knew that I wanted to make comedic content and somehow get it out there. I originally, and you may remember me saying this, I tried YouTube because at the time, like, that was the big thing, was like, you know, like, to get your channel and get people to see you on YouTube. And I tried, and I was slowly progressing, but I felt like I kept failing. You know how that is. A lot of times you try and and you don't always get where you want to be. So I kind of felt like I was beating my head, and I was not getting this, you know, comparing myself to people like Nurse Blake, who had, you know, at the time, like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, people on YouTube. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? You know? And I finally was like, you know what, if this avenue isn't working for me, let's try something else. So I thought, well, why not? I'm on Facebook all the time. You know, I'm like, why not try Facebook? Is there a way to, if you can make money on YouTube, maybe you could make money on Facebook. And that's where it really started to take off, you know, and I got the groove and put 1,000% into it. And obviously I had to work while I could till the income kind of started going up, where then I could go down on my hours. Eventually went part-time for a while, then went to casual pool, where I could just do maybe 1 8-hour shift a week. So it was like little blocks of a transition. But that's how I just kind of kept going at it.
Yes. And I love how you said that when one avenue wasn't working for you, you switched to another one. Did you feel discouraged at that time, or were you just kind of empowered? Sure. Like, okay. Because I think a lot of times with entrepreneurship, we need to, you know, let people know that failure is part of the journey, and you know, you can only be discouraged so long, and then you have to pick yourself up and try something else. So I love that you said that.
Well, yeah, there's many times that I'm like, maybe I'm not as funny as I think I am. Maybe I just laugh at myself, but nobody else is, you know. But then I'd have people that did come across my videos. They'd be like, "Oh my God, you're hysterical. Why aren't you out there more?" You know, and I'd be like, so those little bits of encouragement would kind of keep you going. But yeah, of course, there was times that I was absolutely discouraged and felt like this isn't going to happen, you know, and, but I would just kind of keep persevering and trying, just learning as I go, you know, just trying to figure it out.
I feel like, and I love that you talked about the transition, because one thing it's unique to us, not only nurses, but we definitely have the fortune of not having to go cold turkey. And, you know, and that was my path as well. I was I was per diem at different jobs, right? Multiple jobs that would have been equivalent to a full-time job. And then I started tapering off. And then I was left with one adjunct job as a faculty. And then eventually I was like, okay, it's time, right? So we have a unique ability to kind of titrate, and nurses will know what I mean when I say titrate, ourselves out of our jobs and not have to be like, okay, I have to quit right today, or I go from 40 hours to no hours. No, we can actually go part-time and then see how that feels, get adjusted, and then per diem if we want, and then eventually just let the job go. A lot of nurses feel like they have to just full time, like quit their job. And I don't support that at all. That's not the path I took. It just wasn't an option for me financially. You know, mortgage needed to be paid. So I didn't do that. And a lot of nurses are scared of pursuing entrepreneurship because they feel like that's the route they have to take. Like they have to just cut cold turkey and quit their job. And I'm like, where do you get that from?
Right.
Yeah, there is. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of failure. That's what I always say is people, I think, fear failure more than they fear being stuck in the same thing day in and day out. They fear not being successful at something. And like you said, I think if more people understood that you don't have to just say, I'm out of here. I'm going to buy a video camera and I'm going tomorrow and everybody's going to follow me. No, you know, that's not the way that it is. It's a learning experience. And, you know, whether it's social media or whether it's whatever it is that you want to build up and do, it definitely takes time, but it's got to be something that you're going to like doing. Otherwise, you're not going to put the passion into it. You're not going to put the energy into it. You know, like I literally love every day making videos and creating videos. Like it is very hard for me to take a day off. And that's because I truly like what I'm doing, like getting that energy back from other people and hearing them laugh or tag their best friend in a video because they can relate to me talking about a crazy work bestie, or seeing people share it. Like that gives back. I'm getting goosebumps. That gives back to me more than anything. I mean, and don't get me wrong, nursing gave back to me. It did. I loved seeing a mom hold her newborn for the first time. I can't tell you how many times I cried. I liked being there for my patients. And I wish that things were different. I wish, and maybe it'll get back to that one day, but I will not be a bedside nurse in the way that this healthcare and the way administrations for the most part are right now. It's not for me. It makes me bitter, and I don't want to be a bitter person. You know, I want to be a happy person. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. That's when I knew
that pretty well.
When I was burnt out, I say the same thing. It started making me bitter. And that's when I had to look at myself like, this is making me bitter, not the joyful person that I love being. So something has to change, because it can definitely make you bitter. And then it's not fair for your patients either. You know?
Oh, right. Exactly. You know, and I felt like for me, like there were times that I was so angry and distraught with what I did. I felt like I was having to put on an act of happiness versus being happy. I would never let my patients see what I'm really going through. Like I'm not one of those that I just couldn't. I'm not one of those that's going to go in there and be like cranky nurse and, you know, snapping at people. But I felt like I was having to act all day and not in an acting role that I wanted, you know? So that felt like that was double work, man. Having to act happy and yeah. So,
yeah. So Jessica, as a creator, influencer, what is a day in the life like? Like, how does your day consist of now? That you're a fun.
I like talking about this. Well, I get up and have my coffee. No,
right.
And I ponder out my window and look at the world. Well, my day, I mean, it basically starts just like anybody else. Crazy morning, get the kids off to school, and then I do my homework. I get home and I do my homework. And what I mean by that is I start searching. I look all through social media, and that's what gets my brain flowing and my creative juices going, is looking at other people's content and things and looking at ways that, just fuel something in me, or to spark an idea, I guess is the best way I can explain it. So I maybe do like a good hour of homework. I've tried the last 6 months, instead of sitting on my bed and doing my homework, I try to get up and walk the neighborhood and do my homework. Because I'm like, why would I couldn't make an excuse. I'm like, why would I just sit here and flip when I could put my AirPods in? And so that's what I've been doing. I do my homework, and then I come back all sweaty, and then I got to try to get, now that I have my ideas, then I get ready, whatever your routine is, shower, do your makeup and your hair, and then I start filming. I like to film a lot, because I always say for every, 10 hits at bat, you're going to maybe get one home run or, 1 out of 20. So, I mean, I've never been the type that's like, I'm going to put out one video a day, because it's going to take you maybe 20 days to get that home run versus you could get it almost every day or every other day if you just keep doing it. So I try to err on the side of filming more than I probably should. And then sometimes I bank things. I use the funniest ones. Then it starts the uploading, sharing, then replying to people, replying to comments. So it's a whole day event until I feel like I work 24 hours a day, really, but I'm not complaining in a way that I love.
Right.
Because even if I'm done with filming my content, posting my content, sharing it to my other social media platforms, I still have fun getting ideas for the next day, or I want to scroll and keep getting things, or saving sounds, or whatever the thing may be. So I feel like so I always tease my husband. He'll be like, "Are you on that TikTok again?" I'm like, I'm working here.
That's my favorite thing to my husband too. I'm like, I'm working.
I'm like, this is working. He's like, oh, okay, sure it is. And I'm secretly like, this is fun. I like it, but technically it is working. I mean, it is saving up ideas or thinking of ideas. And there's been times that like I've come up with an idea and been in bed at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, no, this has to come out now. Like, I'll go back, do my makeup, come back, film it. I'm like, I can't wait for tomorrow. I might miss the window. And it's like, you've got to be driven like that, though, because if you just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, you might miss the window of jumping on a trend or jumping on an idea that maybe somebody might think of tomorrow. And then
can you tell when it's gonna, like when I know I'm gonna hit a good one, I have this, like, I'm on a roller coaster in my stomach. Like it feels like I'm dropping. I'm like, I got it. Like, I know this, like, is gonna hit. I know people are gonna receive it. It's just one of those things where, and I feel like super excited.
I did one this morning, and I have not, since I posted it, I haven't checked, but that was one that I did today that I really feel like I'm like, I want to get this out there before I do the podcast. I'm like, because I was like, damn, this is a home run. I'm like, but I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Right. I'm like, because if everybody can't see themselves in this video, then those are the ones, like I was saying, that are home runs. When across the board, everybody can look at it and say, that's me. Or that's me and my bestie there. That's us at work, Those are the ones that I feel do the best, and that was one today. So yes, I definitely get that vibe. There's been a couple times it's tricked me. Don't get me wrong. And I'm like, what happened? That was supposed to be really good. I'm like, I laughed. I don't know, but a couple times it just doesn't hit, or the algorithm isn't working for you, or who knows, but we'll see. I'll have to report back and tell you if I was right about this one today. We'll see.
Right.
I wanted to ask you, sitting here thinking about your journey, I'm sure, especially being a comedian and a creator, you've had to learn along your entrepreneurial journey to put yourself out there. So what are some things that maybe came about, or some opportunities that you have gotten from just putting yourself out there that you would have never thought that you would have been able to do?
Oh my gosh. One of the most amazing ones was being there for Redonda's verdict, and being there and being able to speak to all those nurses, be able to give a speech. Wow. That is something that I probably would not have been able to afford to do as a full-time nurse and being paycheck to paycheck. But it was one of the most rewarding, amazing experiences ever. Like I cried so hard. Everybody there did. It was just it's the closest that I have felt like nurses have had each other's back in a long time. That's the only way I can explain it. It was just everybody that was there that wanted to support Redonda was there for the common good. Like we all were just rallying and supporting, and it literally, it was amazing. And I was given the opportunity to, like I said, to speak and to get interviewed. Those are things that, wouldn't have happened, or even just having the honor of doing some comedy for nurses associations. Sometimes they'll ask me, they'll say, hey, can you come to Michigan, or can you, and do like a little opening thing for us. I think what I'm trying to say, I guess I like being in front of people, like in front of people, right? I mean, obviously the virtual connection is still there, but I really like seeing people's faces react. That for me is super cool. That's stuff that I would have never gotten to do before.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. And we sometimes are so in our bubble, and I always say this, especially to my clients, like, it's like you have to be very audacious, especially as a nurse, because we have this sense of security that's been we've been raised that way through nursing school. It's like job security, trusted profession, most trusted profession. We hear these and it becomes ingrained in our minds. And so we feel like we can't do anything but that. So I think it takes a very audacious type of nurse to step outside of the bedside, but then even more so to do something that's not necessarily related to healthcare, like you're not starting a home health business or, CNA school, the typical things that nurses start. But that takes me to my next question, which is, show me the money. How do someone, like, what is the range? Like, what's been your highest month? Where did you start when you first started, where you were like, like this could grow, what was that dollar amount that made you like turn on that switch? Like I could really be potentially be a full-time influencer. And then how has that taken you so far?
I would say like in the beginning, it was a little bit up and down. You know how that is. There'd be like a month that might be, a video did great, and it brought me a lot of, revenue because that one went viral. But I would say when I was consistently seeing 30 grand a month, I thought to myself, why am I driving to work and spending a 30-minute drive to get there? Like, and, I was like, this is okay. I think I'm done. And it wasn't so much that I had to quit. I liked having that one day, to be honest with you. But what I really wanted to do was be able to talk about administration and how horrible they can be to healthcare workers. And still holding a place of employment, I felt held back, that I couldn't do that part of the comedic side that I really wanted to do. I mean, obviously, even though I would never mention where I worked or, in any way associate myself to my employer, you still have to toe the line and be careful, because if you do one thing that's misconstrued as somehow being disrespectful to your superiors or anything like that. So I felt like I was leaving a huge element out, which is one that I really wanted to make fun of because, so I feel like, in a sense, that's another thing I've been given, is I'm able to say what a lot of nurses can't say, what they want to say, but there's the fear of backlash, and I wanted to eliminate that as well. And so it just all clicked. I was like, I'm making good money. Let's just continue on and let's really blow it out of the park, and I've had a lot of people message me, how do you not get in trouble? And I think a lot of people don't realize that I'm not working bedside, and then some people don't get the concept of or they'll say, well, you're not a nurse anymore. Yes, I'm a nurse. I will always be a nurse. That is ingrained. I will always have my RN obviously for as long as I can. And I have 21 years of memories, like 21 years of all the things that I have dealt with, working as a nurse in the second busiest hospital in Florida for deliveries. I beyond can relate, from the highs to the lows, to the great parts, to the horrible parts. So my memory is long. So as long as I can still relate to the field, which I think I can, then I'm going to keep doing it, and I think a lot of people don't get that. I'm acting. I'm like, a lot of times I'll be doing it. Let me explain that. Like, I'll do a skit like I'm driving to work, I'm a nurse driving to work, and they're like, but you don't go to work. Okay. I understand that, but and that's few and far between, but some people don't, or I guess my green screens are so good, they think that I'm at work. Shame on you for filming at work. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
I'm like, wow, someone must be really good. The people in the background aren't moving, but okay, But
I want to, you kind of skim past the 30K, which is huge, by the way.
And that was, if you want to know I'd say my biggest month is probably about 70,000. If I had to say one of my
that's
that
like
was a good month.
A nurse's salary on the West Coast in a year. I'm not going to even say, because I know in other places it's not, but definitely West Coast, California, in a year, to make that in a month. That's the part that I am so passionate about when it comes to nurses, and understanding that, you just basically took us on a journey, Nurse Jessica, because it was rocky in the beginning. YouTube didn't do what it did, up and down, bad experience at work. I decided to go full time. You really did not know what it was going to lead to. And this is when you make these decisions, this is when you have these type of results in the presence of fear. Because I'm sure you have fears. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have them. I'm sure you have fears. I'm sure the people around you may have had some fears and concerns, like, hey, wait a minute, you got a good job. That's the thing that they say about us as nurses. And so now you've had upwards of 70K months. And I just want to kind of dive into that, because people are going to listen to this and be like, okay, so you telling me I can go on and I can make a TikTok and I can make 70,000 for the month, but that's not how you generate your revenue. So can you just tell us your bulk of where your revenue comes from, how, you get that 30 or 70K month?
Yeah. TikTok is very little in the sense of posting videos. You make pennies upon pennies. But TikTok is, I call it the gateway keeper. It's the gateway to other things. So I get a lot of brand deals from TikTok. A lot of people that are looking for content creators to promote them. I will go to TikTok to find these creators. So I do get a lot of that from TikTok. So that's part of my income. Obviously, a small amount from creating on TikTok. Same thing with Instagram. They will pay me for reels on Instagram, but then you'll have people reach out to you for brand deals as well, or public speaking. I get, hey, can you come and fly here? And public speaking pays very well. On top of that, Facebook is my big bread and butter. They pay really, really well. But I make a lot of money. Facebook has not just the connection of making money for ads on videos, but there's so many other monetization things on Facebook that I have basically conquered everything that you can conquer on Facebook, to the point that I can't keep up. I have so many ways to make money on Facebook that I can't do them all. I'm at the point that I need help, because this could be so much bigger, and I need help with that. I could write articles for Facebook Instant Articles and make money. I don't have time to sit down every day and write a full blog on top of creating 15 to 20 videos and, you know, sharing them and marketing and doing your stories. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a million different things. But yeah, it's subscribers, subscribing to your community. It's just a combination of so many different little things that add up. But yeah, all of that, if you know, some months have great months, and you can hit that goal. You can hit your bonuses. They have bonuses too for, like, if you post this many videos. It's crazy how much Facebook has to offer that a lot of people don't know.
So let me just say this, and then Chris, you chime in. When I met you at the Creator Con, I was hearing you, and I'm just like, you know, as a newer I mean, you know, I won't say newer, but like I was doing like Instagram. I haven't even touched TikTok yet, really. And here you say Facebook, it's like, what? I thought Facebook was. And then to hear you say how you have monetized it to a system, and now I'm hearing you say you're pretty much doing all this alone. That is crazy. That means that there's so much room for growth when you decide to scale. You can go on Upwork and hire someone to do your blog. They can literally pull you a blog off of one of your lives or one of your something and write a blog for you. Like, it just means that when you bring in people, it's going to be way beyond 70K, because you're already doing that with the one-man show. Once you bring on
that crazy? It's no wonder I work 24 hours a day.
It's going to be bonkers. But that takes me to the next thing, which I was telling you. You need to help people get that. You need some kind of community to help creators monetize YouTube. Like, that is your Facebook.
I'm actually starting on is it oh gosh, what's it called? No, not Upstream. Why am I having a brain fart? But I am going to be doing courses. I'm in the process of filming them. I'm filming courses to teach people how to monetize.
Teachable? Is it Teachable? Udemy? Kajabi?
No. Udemy. There you go.
Yeah.
Udemy. Well, I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but I haven't launched it yet, but I'm in the process of filming the video. So that is going to be another thing that I want to hopefully, you know, teach other creators and have a course where they can see from beginning to end, how do you start a business page? How do you start to gain your followers? How do you cross what are the things how many video views do you have to have? How many followers? You know, all of these things. But obviously I can't launch it until I have all of it filmed. But I am doing that. I'm in the process of that.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited, but the hard part is like, as much as I like that and I want to teach people, I have more fun doing the comedy. So I always find excuse.
No, but this is not the fun part. I always call it the active before the passive. It's not fun, but you're going to help a lot of people. And so I like to hold on to that part, the fact that I can add value and help others. So yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the fact that you can record it and kind of just set it. And then get back to doing what you love, which is the actual videos and comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we like to do this little segment called, we like to give homework to our viewers. So if we have, and we will, have nurse creators or aspiring nurse creators who really want to monetize social media. So we like to give them three steps or three things that they can do right now where they are. And most of our listeners are most likely are still working. So what are three things that you would have them do right now to begin their journey to becoming an influencer or course creator or a content creator?
I would say just maybe if you want to do something similar to like what I'm doing, I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, would be to kind of take a little step, create an account to each of these social media platforms, see which one you kind of feel is the maybe easiest to navigate, or easiest for you to kind of work and do. And in my opinion, focusing on that one for a while and tackling one before you start throwing yourself into a million different, because you can get lost in the mix. So I would say researching, studying, getting accounts to all, and when I mean social media, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these different sites, kind of seeing which one you feel comfortable with or which one you like, and then maybe starting a small venture, do some taste tests. If you're going to do a video, film a couple videos. If you're going to be doing a teaching platform, maybe film one or two of your teaching things and get it out there, or slowly start up your business page, or get everything lined up in a row, get things organized, look professional, kind of have things ready to go, and then just kind of slowly start doing it. So I would say, look them up, start an account, take time, find which one you're comfortable with, and then slowly start tackling and mastering that class, mastering that platform. That's how I did it anyways. Like I said, I bombed initially on YouTube. I'm still growing now. But then I said, okay, I'm going to go to Facebook, and I honed in on, I didn't touch Instagram or touch TikTok until I had everything I knew. And that's just the way I learned, though. That's how I do it, because I feel like you can get discouraged when you're all over the place, because all these platforms are so different. They really are. So that's all. I mean, that would be my advice, and just be confident. Be confident in yourself. That's the one hardest thing, is to really feel confident in yourself that you can do it, or that you do have value, or you do have something to teach, or that people would laugh at your comedy. Because I always say, if you go up there and you're not confident, people see right through you. People sense that. You can't get on screen and be like, I want to teach you about how to garden. You got to be excited. You got to be passionate about it. So those are all small. God, I'm a talker. I'm so sorry. I talk.
No, you're good.
Yes,
it's
a podcast.
I'm a rambler,
okay.
but yeah, it's true. You can always cut out my rambling. But that would be my advice.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice, and definitely the confidence in being able to get out of your own way. Like, have fun. Like, I always tell my clients, you are not leaving or considering leaving the bedside to jump into something that's worse, that you're not happy with, that you don't find enjoyable. Right. So get into something that you actually like. You can get paid doing things you like. People don't realize that, because we've been doing, this bedside thing for so long, and then COVID and all that. And people don't realize you can make money doing something that you enjoy, but you got to show up.
Absolutely. Exactly. It takes work. It is work. Another small thing they could do would be start growing your followers on whatever the platform is. Like, you can slowly start growing followers by just engaging in, like, starting your page, whether it be your Facebook business page, and just start little. Just start posting things on your page, and it will get seen, and the followers will start to come, but just you just got to start somewhere.
Yes, agreed.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was such good advice for our listeners. Have the confidence. Yeah. Have the confidence and just start. Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's easier said than done, but
yeah.
Yes. And the thing is, people think they need to learn everything first, and then they're going to do this. Just start.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry to say, and I brought this up. I don't remember when I was talking to my community, and I was just saying, y'all don't even remember at the beginning of the year, I did a whole switcheroo on my product, and it bombed. Nobody remembers. They only remember med spa, and oh my gosh, she did this. Who cares? And I just tucked it away, tucked my little tail, and kept on going.
That's it. You know how many times in the beginning I was not made fun of, but people would, when I wasn't making money yet, oh, how's YouTube going? You still making those videos? You know, you get those kind of things, like, you know, almost like you just love yourself, don't you? You just want to see yourself on camera. There were so many times I had to hear that, and I'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, you just gonna keep doing that? Like, and you know how good it felt to years later to be able to say, yeah, I am still doing that, and I am making tons of money from it. So yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't say that to complete strangers, but there are this small group of people who were doubters, and it does feel good to be able to say, hey, you didn't think I could tell you didn't think I could do it. But
and we literally we thrive on getting that 3% or 4% every year if we can get it based on our evals or whatever. But we won't dedicate a couple years to potentially bringing, you may have to figure it out, and you may take some hits along the journey, but the potential earning is limitless if you would just give it the time. But we won't do that. We'd go broke and starving and eat a couple noodles for 4 years, 5 years for nursing school, but we won't do that for our career and give ourselves a couple of years of learning, and then the potential to bring in money is unlimited because we are the deciders of that instead of other people. So like, imagine had you stopped, imagine had you listened to what everybody said, or even the concerns maybe of family and friends, legitimate concerns, because everybody's scared when you start talking something new. They're like, wait, what happened?
Oh, girl, even my husband, I said, can I go film? And he'd be like, okay. You know, like, I'll watch the kids while you go film something that's not bringing us $1. Like, go ahead. You know, he wouldn't say that, but he'd be like, now he's like, oh, sure, honey. So how much time do you need? Okay, you get in there, sweetheart. You film. Yeah. I'm like, I even told him, wow, how the tables have turned. Wow, I've never seen such excitement. Yeah.
Right.
You got that bonus this month, sweetie? Did you hit your goals?
I love that.
They don't understand until the money starts coming in.
Oh,
They don't see the vision.
It takes it takes away from it takes away, especially if you're still working as a nurse and then you're trying to build something up on the side. It's hard on everybody for a little while. It is. But I will say one amazing thing about him. He never once told me not to. He never once said don't. You know, he always, as much as he'd make the face, you know, like, okay, you know, he always gave me reassurance and never said, stop this. This is done, you know? So for that, I do thank him. You have to have some supportive people in your corner. That's for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. So let's talk about how people can find you. Where are you? And by the way, I was looking on your TikTok and I do see you offer sessions for like coaching sessions, like 1 hour sessions, things like that. So tell them where to meet you and how they can get in contact if they wanted to partake in your offers.
Well, every platform I'm on is Nurse Jessica Sites, SITES, Nurse Jessica Sites. So my website is nursejessicasites.com. All my other Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you just look up the handle name, Nurse Jessica Sites. But I am doing, in the meantime, right now, I won't be doing one-on-ones forever until I get my my courses out there. I am doing one-on-ones. The hard part I'm learning about one-on-ones is they're very time-consuming. But I'm doing them until I can get this out there. So if you are interested in learning how to monetize, not only just Facebook, I mean, I am teaching people also about Instagram and TikTok. I'm not going to get into YouTube because I would never try to teach something I don't feel like I've mastered yet. But any of these social media platforms, I'm more than happy to help navigate in any way that I can. I've done it for several people, and I run over the time. I'm usually like, oh, look at that, because I'm a talker, you know. But they're great sessions. I love teaching people. I like seeing people's face like, hey, I didn't know you could do that. Like, that's cool. Or I didn't know that's how you do it. So yes, if you're interested in that, you just, you can actually book right there on the website. And I'm more than happy to, either whatever you're comfortable with, do Zoom, or, if you'd rather just do calls, I've done that as well. So.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us. This has been so informative. You have added so much value to our community. We appreciate you for being a trendsetter. Like, this is something now nurses are being influencers. Before it was like the Instagram models and the, you know, the video girls and all that. And now we got the nurses.
I know. I'm telling you, we got to take this on the road and we need to go state to state and teach. I was talking to Mike from Simple Nursing the other day. Yeah. He's like, "What? Why aren't we doing this?" I'm like, "Well, shoot, make it happen. I'll be there. Let's go."
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So I definitely agree.
The possibilities are limitless. So
yes.
For everybody. I'm not just talking us. I'm talking a nurse, anybody, a CNA, anybody. Just, you don't even have to have your RN. Just do it. Just do something that you love and throw caution to the wind. So thank you for having me. Yeah, this was fun.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, it was. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, we will be having amazing guest speakers like Nurse Jessica Seitz on our podcast. We are here to help you, to empower you, to embolden you to make the nurse boss shift if that is something that you are interested in. All right, you guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye, ladies.